What's up, everybody? John Hoover, Sooners on SI, along with Ryan Chapman. We're at the field, Vaught Hemingway Stadium, wrapping this thing up. It did not go how Oklahoma wanted. It went probably better than a lot of people thought it would, which was a 14-10 lead at halftime, including a fantastic 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. But Oklahoma drops their fourth straight game, fourth in conference play. They're 1-4 now in conference play. 26-14 at Ole Miss was the final score. We're wrapping this thing up. Ryan, a lot of positives, including a new offensive coordinator, John Finley, calling plays. I thought there was some sharpness and some cleverness that wasn't there before, some connectivity with the plays. Season high in SEC play, 329 yards total offense. Jackson Arnold had a good game. Jovante Barnes had a good game. The offensive line had a good game until they didn't. Wow, what a game.
Yeah, third straight game. They lost three in a row.
3 in a row. I said 4 in a row. Three in a
row,
games.
4 of 5. But yeah, I mean, at halftime, honestly, the whole press box was in a state of shock. But OU side of the press box, the Ole Miss riders of the press box, because no one knew what to expect. How much could this thing look different? The offense looked a lot different. I know that Jack saw it after the game, said it wasn't what Jeff Lebby was running, but with John Finley in charge, it looked a lot more like Jeff Lebby's offense. Yep. It was rolling the pocket. It was using checkdowns, whether it be Jovante Barnes in the flats, Bauer Sharp, and in the end, Arnold finished, 22 of 31 for a $182, 2 scores. Jovante Barnes finished with 67 on the ground, 16 rushes, and they had
162 at halftime.
Yeah, and it was
against 52. Sorry.
Yeah, he had 52 at halftime. The team was well over Ole Miss's season average of averaging allowed 66 and a half. Oklahoma took their first lead into halftime in SEC play. You mentioned the picture perfect 2-minute drill that looked like, okay, this thing has some legs, has some life. It's not perfect, the offensive line, so you can't get them into third and long, things like that. Oklahoma was taking advantage of undisciplined Ole Miss penalties, which is what Ole Miss has been all year. Came out in the second half, though. Ole Miss gets the quick stop, and then boom, boom, boom. 3 straight scoring drives for Ole Miss, 2 touchdowns, a field goal. The leaks sprung all over the place. We saw it in the first drive, right? Maybe a little hint. Oklahoma was like knife through butter defensively. Every time that Ole Miss came out and wanted to hit a tight end in an RPO or a play action, it was there. Then they started attacking down the sideline. Kai Walker got beat on a really, really bad play. It was 3rd and 14. Should have just been a simple drag. He tries to jump it. Jackson makes a great play, or Jackson Dart, makes a great play, funnels it out there. Then that leads to a touchdown drive. A couple plays later, he gives up the 34-yarder, and then we reviewed like 7 times for the touchdown, basically. And Oklahoma's defense couldn't get any stops through the air, put this offense in an impossible spot. It's not all on the defense, but we haven't talked about the defense for a couple of weeks, too. It's not on them, not on them. Right. The third quarter fiasco, they have to get stops because once this offense got into obvious passing situations, they finished allowing 9 sacks, which is 9 sacks, a school record. It ties it from last week when they allowed 9 sacks.
That's right. So you talked about the first drive, the opening drive. Ole Miss comes in off an open date, a bye week last weekend. They came in, they scripted their first drive, obviously, went right through, like Ryan said, right through the Oklahoma defense like a hot knife through butter. But they solved some things. They got better. They figured some things out. Lane Kiffin started having to call plays where he had to adjust to what Oklahoma was doing. All of a sudden, Oklahoma's in the lead. But I take you back one possession. The first possession of the game, OU opens. They're driving this way. If you're watching on the video, they have a chance right here. 4th and goal, kick a field goal. 4th and 1 from the 2. Kick a field goal, kick a chip shot field goal, or go for it on 4th down. Brent Venables chose to go for it. He said, I wanted to be aggressive there. He's trying to send a message to his team, to his offense, to his offensive coordinator maybe. John Finley up in the box, calling those plays. I kind of like the play call. I kind of like I like the decision to go for the touchdown instead of the field goal. I think that would have sent a little bit of a message, would have put more points on the board. I'm not sure I like the play itself. That put him a little bit behind the 8 ball. Jackson Arnold tries a little fake and a little almost like a jump pass, and he ended up throwing it into traffic, and it got batted down, and it was 4th down, and all of a sudden Ole Miss has the ball. 3 and out, and Ole Miss has to punt back, and then they hit like a 62-yard punt, and, here we go. Everything's all even again. You don't get that field position that you were hoping for to get when you're down on the goal line like that.
Yeah, I had no problem with the decision to go for it. I really didn't have a problem with the play call either. At the end of the day, Bauer Sharp didn't get a clean release. They had a option for Brennan Thompson, which is where he ended up throwing it, and it ended up kind of in the dirt, it was a tough spot at that point. But if you didn't get it, look, what does Oklahoma have to lose? They are the underdog in all these SEC games. If you didn't get it, worst case scenario, they get the ball at the 2. You flip the field position. The defense did their job. They let them get, I think, 1 first down, let them out, and then the punt and all that stuff. So I was fine with that. I think it just became I think that they knew the stuff we had talked about. You're not going to fix the offensive line. The receivers aren't magically healthy. Deion Burks missed this game again. It wasn't going to be this, oh my God, they're going to score 40 points. So if you get a drive down to the 2-yard line, go for it. Roll the dice. At the time of that drive, that was the 5th longest drive all year, the opening drive of this game by Oklahoma's offense. 2 of the ones in front of it were the very last drive of the Tennessee game, the very last drive of the Temple game. So 2 garbage time drives. So really, in meaningful football games, the 3rd longest drive. It got bumped down to 6 with the 92-yard march right before halftime. But I had no issue with that. It's just that was going to be the difference. They needed that. They needed to be up 21-10. Yeah. Although the way that Oklahoma's pass defense performed, I'm actually not sure if it would have mattered.
Probably wouldn't have held up. On the injury front, Jackson Arnold didn't have any of his receivers again. He did throw a touchdown pass to Jacob Jordan, his first career touchdown catch. That was nice for the kid to score a touchdown right before halftime. However, he did get some bad news right before the game. Jake Taylor, right tackle, didn't play. Got some bad news during the game. Jacob Sexton, left tackle, eventually didn't play. He tried to give it a go, but he got his ankle rolled up on, had to leave the game. So they're putting young guys in there, right? Howland at left tackle. You got Ozida at left guard. And I thought there was a little bit of a baptism by fire against this Ole Miss defensive front, but I thought those guys settled in nicely. You saw Troy Everett at center for the 2nd straight game. All of a sudden, Oklahoma's offensive line is moving and getting some push and getting some clearance and kind of protecting. I think they had 3 sacks at halftime and then 6 in the second half. So that first half looked, to me, totally different. And you call it Joe John Finley. In my game report, he was one of the heroes of the game. The other hero was the offensive line.
Yeah, for the first
I know
half,
it's tough.
For the first half, sure. The second half, they were awful. There was no space to run. That all suddenly gobbled up. You think about just the first 2 drives of that second half, couldn't really pick up a first down at all. I think that Howland, his second snap in, he got absolutely smoked. I don't think the fumble was on him. After looking at it, I think that was on Fetchy Weewu, who, if you're looking to play young guys, play him at right guard. Your right guard's been off all year. I don't understand. But there are no excuses for this group. I mean, they gave up 6 sacks in the second half, and I know that they got
Oklahoma's throwing a lot.
I know that they got
behind.
It's one thing to get into obvious passing situations, and for Arnold to have to hold onto the ball on like a 4th down. It's another thing that they're in obvious passing situations, and the second the snap goes, you're done. That is awful offensive line. Like Logan Howland was getting beat 2 steps in. That to me is inexcusable. Bill Beanbo's had all year to work with him. Mm-hmm. Logan Howland has made a start. Logan Howland has played football this year. It's not like a brand new guy. And that left side of the line totally capitulated in the second. You gave up 18 sacks in the last 2 games, that's 24 tough. Sacks in the last 3 games, 29 sacks in SEC play. You don't get to be a hero. I'm sorry, Hoover. I'm sorry. You don't get to be a hero.
I write that thing at halftime.
No. The first half, it was totally different. The first half, they were open up running space. And I thought, too, part of that second half is because they weren't efficient running the ball early in the second half, it didn't open up where how many 3rd and 2 they pick up 2 yards, stuff like that. It wasn't big explosive, but what happened after Sexton went down, I thought the longer that Ole Miss got to work on him, the more they got exposed as a group that has no clue really what they're doing.
Yeah. OU was a 21.5 point underdog for this game. They ended up losing by 12. There are no moral victories. Nobody gives a crap. Bottom line is they're 4-4. It doesn't get any easier from here, does it? Next week?
Next week is the one. You got Maine, but
Bears coming to town.
You're going to be a dog on the road at Missouri. You're going to be a dog at home against Alabama off the bye. You're going to be a dog against LSU. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. This offense, what they found in the first half, if they can build off of that enough to keep them in a Missouri game maybe, yes. Especially if they're banged up? I thought that was my kind of takeaway from the first half is what the offense gave you. That's enough to put you in one of those games. I don't really know about Alabama and LSU. I think they're a great deal better than Missouri.
Right.
But if the defense doesn't fix what was going on here, there was no Trey Harris. That's the big thing. Trey Harris, a hair under 1,000 yards, all that stuff. So. And basically, if Jackson Dart didn't get hit, he was super efficient. It was the tight ends in the first half, and it was on the boundary on both sidelines in the second half. That is the thing that the defense has escaped any kind of blame for the last couple of weeks. And ultimately, I think this falls on the offense, the offensive line, stuff like that. The defense kind of has to play perfect, but I thought they were really, really bad in the third quarter, and that put the offense in the situation to just get kind of scorched in the fourth.
Jalen Hurts, where are you? We're trying to keep the main thing with Maine coming to town next week. Hey, OU's going to win that game, right? Going to be 5-4. Everybody's going to feel good. Oh boy, back to conference play in 2 weeks. It's incredible. This schedule, how difficult this schedule is, how challenging. But like I said, bottom line, 4-4, 1-4 in conference play. Be sure and check out Oklahoma Sooners on SI.com. That's where you're going to find all of our post-game interviews with the players, with Brent Venables. My YouTube channel's already got videos up, John Hoover Media. Be sure and check that out. Plus our post-game reports, our in-game reports. The live blog was firing today. You guys need to check that out, Oklahoma Sooners on SI.com. We're going to wrap it up here at Vaught Hemingway Stadium and head back for the post-game podcast live from parts unknown.
Somewhere.
Probably, we'll find a spot.
Probably close to Olive Branch, Mississippi.
Maybe.
Probably not a hotel room pod this time. Who knows?
Maybe we'll be in the lobby this time. Maybe we'll be. Yeah, there'll be some drunk Ole Miss fans. Hotty toddy, rest the body. I want a foddy.
Well, that's how we started our day rolling in. That was before we got to the Grove. The Grove was awesome.
The Grove was amazing. If you guys didn't come, you missed a great trip. A lot of fun here.
Come back in, 4 years or whenever they'll circle back around?
Yep. All right, we're going to wrap it up. For Ryan, I'm Hoover. See you guys.